Okay. Hi, welcome. Welcome to this quickie, 15 minutes. So I'm going to have a quick talk about how to run Java workloads on AWS. It's going to be high level. It's only 15 minutes. So we're going to cover briefly Amazon Corretto, what it is, what we do with it. Then we're going to talk about the paradigm shift, migrations and modernizations, and where it doesn't actually matter for you because you have a lot of options there to run your workloads. And then, so where do you run it then? And as last, what does that mean for the shared responsibility model when you run a workload on AWS for the options that you have? So first thing, what is Amazon Corretto? It's our downstream distribution of the OpenJDK, created in 2016, externally available since 2019. We have regular releases of Corretto, and we offer long-term, no-cost support for Java 8, 11, and 17. And it's a drop-in OpenJDK replacement, so you don't even have to do, you don't notice it if you don't look at it. And of course, we are one of the growing contributors to the OpenJDK. But if you don't want to use it, you can always also use your own OpenJDK, depending on your deployment option. So the paradigm shift. I don't have to look behind me. We've gone from physical machines to virtual machines, containers, and now we are at serverless. On all of those, you can run your Java workloads. Depending on which one you take, and we'll cover that later, there are things that you don't need to take care of anymore, or you have to take care of it. It's your choice. So pathways and 7 Rs to go towards cloud or towards AWS in this case. The ones that want to count, you can see there are only 5. So we're not going to talk about the retain or retire options. We're not going to talk about getting rid of the applications. But if you look at typical workload, Java workload, it has a database, it has an application. And when you do a relocate or a rehost, you can go to our virtual machines, which are called Amazon EC2. And you can also run your database on Amazon EC2. That means, of course, that you have to do everything on top of that instance. When you want to re-platform, you're going to move to containers, and there you have a couple of options that allow you to develop and deploy faster with the portability between platforms. And for database there, if you stay with classic stuff, there's RDS, our managed database as a service. If you're going to refactor, rewrite, it depends on what you want to do. If you move to cloud native, you can go to serverless, to Lambda, to functions. Move to open source, well, it depends what you choose there on where you can land. But it's, again, stuff like Amazon ECS, Amazon EKS, our container services, and Fargate, which is the serverless version of those container services. And then for the database, purpose-built databases, there are many. We're not going to dive deeper in that. If you want to know more, you can always come later to discuss about that. And modernization, it's a journey. It's not a one big thing. There are some that want to do it in a big thing. You can do that. But usually, it's something that you move through. And there's no, it's not a or decision you have to take. It's not or containers or serverless. It is an and discussion. You can do both. And there is no hard rule. There's nothing right or wrong about making those choices. They're all yours. Depending on what you do and when you do it, you can modernize or keep your legacy applications, but migrate them to have benefits of the cloud, even with legacy applications. So the big question, I think why most are here in the room today, where to run my Java code? Well, this is some of the options. So we've chosen a few to show here. But if we start from the top, moving older legacy Java EE applications to EC2, well, that is to your virtual machine. Java EE applications with Rosa. Rosa, it's Red Hat OpenShift on AWS. You can do Quarkus, you can do JBoss, WebSphere on those things. It's a service managed together with Red Hat. So it's not only us that will support you in that. And then you can start containerizing your Java applications, your Spring applications, or your new GEE applications. And you have plenty of choices there. Again, Rosa or AppRunner, if you just want to give your container to a service and tell it, run this, please, and give it a minimal configuration. Sorry. Or EKS and ECS, if you want to manage more of the orchestration. And if you don't want to worry about servers, you have Fargate, which I forgot on the slide there, and Lambda, the functions, Java functions on Lambda. So that's not all. If we look at it from another angle, you have serverless, Fargate, Lambda, we have container services, and then you have the opinionated deployment, meaning depending on what you need to do and how much you want to do there, you can choose one of those services and we will do part of the work. And then we come to more important slides to discuss that, which is the shared responsibility model. So in the shared responsibility model, it's mentioned here security, but it's also on an operational level for a bit. We have the responsibility for security of the cloud. Let's talk about security here. And you, as a customer, are responsible for the security in the cloud. But it's not a static, it's not something static. It looks like static here, but it's not. So if you look at the Java deployment options you have, the line will vary. The line varies. If you want, if you look at our infrastructure services, Amazon EC2, for example, again there, it is more customizable for you, but it also means more customer responsibility. The next grouping of services we like to call container services. EKS, our managed Kubernetes service, is one of those examples. You can see that line shifting up a bit, and we will take more care of what we call the undifferentiated heavy lifting for a workload. And you can focus on things closer to you as an organization. And for some, it makes sense on different levels to go to an abstracted service, like Lambda or like Fargate. It is less customizable, true, but it also means there is less customer responsibility. And you gain, on top of that, you gain best practices built into the service. So you can focus on what brings added value to you as an organization. And that's where you can focus on. So how to run Java on AWS? There are many ways, but it's not only the deployment part. There is also other things around that can help you with everything. You have Code Guru. It will help you profile your running workload and look at the code and help you have it run better. Let's say it like that. You have other services that can help you with all of those things. If you want to know more, you can always reach out to your AWS account team, and they can help you with setting up an immersion day or other things where you can try out those things and get advice on how to do that. If you want to do it by yourself, you have the URL at the end of the slide where you have a couple of workshops you can go through. It explains how it works, what you can do, how you can do it, and so on. And that was the last slide that I had. Questions for the group, they're always welcome. I don't really see who will raise a hand. If you want to stay until it's over, you can always come here and then ask questions then.
Can you give a warm applause for Kevin? Do we have any questions? Hang on. Who was it?
What about Corretto, higher than 17?
Java 21 is supported now as well. But it's, yeah, I forgot to change that on the slides.
How long before new Corretto versions come to code bit? Can you repeat the question?
How soon does a new Corretto version comes to code build as a prepaid runtime? As a runtime. I don't know. I would have to look it up in documentation as well. Yeah. But it's there. You can find it. Other questions? No?
Okay. But then don't forget to rate. You go into jfokus.se/ good. jfokus.se/rate. So thank you, Kevin.
Or scan the QR code.
And you can scan the QR code as well, of course. So now soon it's time for the final keynote in the big auditorium, A1.